Welcome today. We are kind of in a new back to school time in our year. It's been kind of a crazy last several months, couple of years. So hopefully what this webinar is going to be doing for you is to kind of help make this back to school transition a little bit easier by using Showbie and kind of digging deeper with what you can do with Showbie inside your classroom. Just to be clear, that this is not the basics webinar. So we're not starting from the ground up. If you're here, I'm just assuming that you have at least a moderate level of familiarity with Showbie. If that's not you, that's perfectly fine. You're more than welcome to stick around. But I'd love to see you in the Showbie Basics webinar, which happened on Tuesdays at 3:30 Central. So be sure to register for that at showbie.com. We can for sure get you set up there. But for today, back to school features, class setup, and some of the new things that we have from Showbie coming down the pike. So let's just dive right in and get started. My name is Kate Biel. I am a learning specialist with the Showbie and Socrative team. I am fresh out of the 6th grade math classroom. This is my very first back to school season where I'm not going back to school, and it feels very strange, and I do miss it terribly. I have been teaching 6th grade math since 2015 here in Texas. I am in Lubbock, if anybody's familiar with the area. I have been a longtime Showbie user, and I am also a Showbie certified educator. I started using Showbie around the 3rd week of my first year of teaching, and I never looked back, and I can guarantee that I never would have made it this far without Showbie. And as far as the Showbie certified educator, if that interests you at all, I will be talking a little bit more about that at the end of this webinar. So if that is something that you'd like to look into, we can go over that as well. My role here at Showbie and my passion in life is to actively find things that make mine and other teachers' lives easier. Our job is not easy by nature. It is very difficult, and sometimes, let's just face it, it sucks a little bit. So my job here and my passion is to find things that make life easier in the lives of our teachers, and spread the word, because we all need a little bit of help. And another fun thing about me, I have never had a productive relationship with a copy machine. In those 3 weeks that I was not using Showbie, I pretty much practically lived at the copy machine, and it was never a fun time. So I am not a strong proponent of copy machines. I also hate arts and crafts during classes, like foldables, not for me. Cutting and pasting during class, not for me. I didn't trust my 6th graders with glue or scissors, and if that's you, Lord love you, that's not for me. That just gives me the heebie-jeebies. So anyway, that's a little bit about me. If you have any questions as we go through this webinar, please feel free to put those in the Q&A. I've got several people from Showbie that are here on this call that will gladly help answer those questions if I can't get to them right then. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them in that Q&A, but you can also feel free to chat. It's just easier if you put your questions in Q&A. And then at the end of this webinar, I will open up the discussion for you to ask any further questions that didn't get answered, or maybe go into more specifics about certain features. That's an open discussion for us to have if you guys have any more discussions that you would like to go over. So there we go. Let's go ahead and dive on in. Just a very quick brief about Showbie. We are a hybrid learning platform, and we are designed to quickly and easily deliver rich, personalized feedback to all students of all abilities and on any device. One of the most beautiful things I absolutely love about Showbie, and I'm sure you do too, is the fact that it is so simple and streamlined and user-friendly that is one of the things that drew me to Showbie, because there's so many things that we have that were being thrown at that are being thrown at us as teachers, that we could use these cool tools, and here's this, and you could use that. Well, Showbie is so easy to use and easy to implement into your classroom, and it's easy for your kids to start using, that it really becomes a no-brainer as far as getting it set up in your classroom. And my opinion, just it overall made my teaching experience much more pleasant. And so I not only did I get more time in the classroom instructionally. I got more instructional time because I wasn't worried about making sure I passed out certain papers, make sure that the glue was passed out and the kids could glue in their notes in their notebook. I also had time during my conference period because I wasn't worrying about walking down to the other end of the hall to this copy machine that inevitably never worked. And so that's two ways that I gained time. And then I also, which was not expected on my end, I had very significantly less behavioral issues once I started implementing Showbie into my classroom. So all in all, Showbie is an amazing hybrid learning platform that I highly, highly suggest you dive all the way into and start implementing into your classroom if you haven't already started doing so. So what we're going to be going over today, there are 5 big key columns, sections that we're going to be going over today. First of all, we're just going to briefly go over getting started and being prepared. That means getting your kids in, maybe setting up a couple of assignments, classes, those kinds of things. Then we'll really dive into marking and assessing like a pro. And then we'll go with working with other apps that you could be using in addition to Showbie that streamline very, very well with the Showbie platform. And then some new things that are coming out very, very soon that you can also start using with your Showbie classroom. So again, just kind of the specifics of what we'll be going over: QR code logins, class copying, assignment copying and scheduling. All of these things we'll be going over. So there's a lot to unpack. So let's go ahead and just dive right in. I'm going to go ahead and share my iPad screen. See if I can do that very quickly. Let's see. Hopefully that worked out. Oh, there it goes. Okay, perfect. So just to kind of give you a brief overview of kind of the workflow that Showbie provided me in my classroom. I was given a desktop Windows computer. My kids were on iPads. So all of my front loading and assignment creating was done through my desktop computer. But I also had a teacher iPad. So I front loaded all my classes on my desktop computer, but then whenever it came to grading or giving any sort of feedback to my kids, that's what I did on my iPad because I could take my iPad home with me. So Showbie is, if you don't already know this, it is optimized for iOS on your iPad, but it's almost identical across platforms. So you'll also see me here in just a few moments. You'll see me bring up Showbie on what I'm currently now using as my computer, which is a Mac. But what I am on now is on my iPad. So just know that it is almost practically identical all across platforms: Windows, Mac, iOS, all those things. It's just very easily accessible. So first of all, getting our kids in. So by this point, you ideally already have a class set up and then a couple of kids assigned to that class. Well, I know you probably have never come across an issue where one of your students has forgotten their password or their username. I know that never happens, but in the event that it does, what Showbie has done is they have integrated a QR code login so we can completely avoid the mess of, I forgot my username and password. Oh, I gotta reset. I forgot password, all of that stuff. I don't have to worry about that anymore. So if you don't already know it, what that QR code does is it allows your students to just scan their individual QR codes. And I'll show you those here in just a moment. And then it automatically sends them directly to their class that they scanned for. They don't have to put anything in as far as usernames or passwords. They don't have to remember anything. They just have to remember where their QR code is. So, which I know is probably, asking a little bit, but it's much easier than worrying about them remembering a username and password. So I'll just briefly show you how we can do that. What I have here, what you see on my screen, is what I actually used for my 6th grade math classroom. This is how I set up my Showbie class. So in order for us to start using those QR codes, you will have to enable them. So I'll show you how to do that very quickly. I'm going to go up here to this wrench and look at my class members. And then down here, you'll see all of my class members, and then they've got this QR code icon right here at the right next to them on the right. That means I've already enabled their QR codes, but if you don't have that, that's okay. It's not like you don't have access to that. In order for you to get a mass PDF of all of your kids' QR codes, all you got to do is click on Get QR Codes, and you can either select all of them or none of them, or just a select few, like so. I'm going to go ahead and select all of them, and then click on Get QR Codes. Now you will have to push continue in order to move on, and again you will have to enable those if they are not already enabled. And then you'll see that it's going ahead to download this PDF of this QR code sheet. And now everybody has their own QR code that I can now share by printing, or I can mark it up or copy it, or I can email it to a co-teacher. It's just a great way for you to use logging in for your kids. One use case that I've heard of some elementary students, elementary teachers using this feature is they will print all of their QR codes on cardstock and then laminate them. And then at each of their students' desks, they will affix them. They will tape them onto their individual desks. That way that the kids don't have to even worry about keeping up with their QR code. It's just right there automatically as soon as they come in the door. So, and you can absolutely do this with your older grades as well. If you want to just chop them up and give them to those kids and make them responsible for making sure that their QR codes are with them, that is absolutely a possibility for you. So QR codes are a great addition to this Showbie platform. I absolutely should have used this a lot more in my classroom, I think. So I'll go ahead and get out of that, and then we'll move on to copying classes and assignments, and even folders if you have Showbie Pro. So let me go ahead and scroll down a little bit just so I keep a record of everything that I'm doing and I'm not skipping anything that you need. Okay, so first of all, copying a class. If you are here, you've probably already created a class or two. But I will tell you, in my experience, whenever I created my classes, since I taught 6th grade math in elementary or in middle school, I taught 6 identical classes of groups of kids. So I had 150 kids-ish, and they were all dispersed between 6 to 7 classes. But it was all pretty much the same stuff. So I had a set outline of a class that I wanted for all 6 or 7 of my class periods. So copying classes really came in handy for me. So I wasn't doing the same thing over and over and over 17 trillion times. And as you can see, I did use a lot of folders and a lot of things. So that would have taken me forever. So if you just create the basic outline of your class, you can literally just copy that class however many times you're going to need it, and it automatically creates everything within that class that you already have assigned, just done in that one time. And it frees up so much of your time for sure. So I'll show you how to do that briefly. Again, just like a lot of things with Showbie, this is very intuitive and very user-friendly. So you just click up here again at this wrench. And I'm going to go to class settings. And then down here, you'll see copy class. And it's just that easy. All you do is tap on it, and it automatically generates a brand new code that you can give to your new students for that class. And if you would like, you can change it to a different class period. So if I wanted this to be 6th period, I can do that. And you can lock all of the assignments if you would like. But if I'm just going to go ahead and leave those unlocked for now, and then just click copy class, and it's going to copy literally everything in that class that you've already created. And it's just automatically there. And you can do that as many times as you need. Another way that you could use this is if you teach elementary and you've set your classes up by subject. So instead of having groups of 30 kids, you've got just one group of a 30 set of kids. You may have created classes based on subject. So math is a class, science is a class. That's perfectly fine. But what you may want to do is you may want to create a set outline of each class, even though it's going to be all the same kids. You'll want to create a set outline and then copy that class as many times as you need. However you use it, it doesn't matter. But that tremendously cut back on setup time for me, for sure. So that is class copying, and assignment copying is exactly the same. So I'm going to go ahead and click on any of these assignments that I have so we can look at comp number 1, color by number. So I just literally opened up this assignment, and again, I'll go to this wrench, and if I want to copy it, I'll just click copy, and then I'll tell it where I want that assignment to go. And then it'll copy it directly into either the class, or I can copy it into a folder inside of that class. So that's another great option if you just have one assignment that you want to disperse throughout your classes, or you want to copy throughout your classes, you can absolutely do that. If you have the pro version of Showbie, you will see that you have access to folders, which is tremendous and a game changer. If you have just a folder that you would like to distribute or copy throughout your classes, you can also do that as well. It not only copies the folder, the actual folder, it copies everything inside of it. So that's including all of the shared items and the assignments that you have within that folder. And it's exactly the same thing. Click on the folder you want, and then let's see. I'll go ahead, and if I've got my subfolder that I want to go ahead and distribute, I'll go ahead and click on my wrench. I can oops, what am I doing here? Let's see. Well, it's not allowing me to do that right now, but there will be a wrench up here, and then it will allow you to copy those folders to whichever classes you would like to copy them into. So that is an option as well. So let's go ahead, and now we'll move on to another fantastic feature that I absolutely love is assignment scheduling. Assignment scheduling, because we all know that we like to be prepared in advance. Some of us are a little bit more prepared than others. I liked to be at least 2 or 3 weeks ahead, but did that ever really happen? No, but I at least was 2 or 3 days ahead. So if you are ready 2 or 3 days ahead of when you have when you want to have an assignment available for your kids, you can schedule assignments you can schedule your kids to have access to certain assignments based on some parameters that you can set. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see, what am I going to do? I'm going to open up, we'll talk about my homework. So these comp reviews are my kids' weekly homeworks that they will work on every week. And it looks like I've already got several that are open, but I want to go ahead and get this comp review number 5 ready. I'm already ready for week number 5. That's crazy. But let's go ahead and schedule it to open to be ready for the kids whenever that time comes. So I'm going to click on that assignment here. And then I'm going to go into this wrench icon. And you'll notice that I'll go ahead and get out of here. You'll notice that it is currently locked to those kids. So I've gone ahead and I've put that assignment in Showbie, but I've set the student access to locked just so they don't get confused on which assignment they should be working on. So I'm going to schedule it to open at a certain time on a certain date. So for Comp 5, I want the kids to be able to edit this assignment. And I can either edit it on a certain due date or on a different date, which that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to let them have access to it about a week before the due date. And the due date was the 27th. So I'll give them access on the 20th. And I'll make that midnight on the 20th is when they'll have access to that. And then I save. And then now I have a schedule to allow my kids to have access to edit that assignment as soon as that day and time comes. Now I also want to schedule that assignment to sort of lock down and the kids not be able to access any more annotations or to edit that assignment anymore at a certain time. So I can also schedule another event. I'm going to make this event to view only. So they still have access to the assignment. They just can't edit it anymore. I'm going to make it view only, and I'm going to make it on the due date. So they have up to the due date to edit it, but on the due date at 4 p.m. Sounds like a good time. I'm going to go ahead and set that to view only. And so now I have that schedule set and I don't have to worry about it anymore. Don't have to think about it. It's just there automatically and it'll do it for me. That was a fantastic thing that I used in my classroom. Oh my gosh, saved me so much time. And we all know that we've got 22,000 different things going on in our head. So anything that's going to do something automatically where we don't have to think about it anymore, oh my gosh, that just makes our lives so much easier. All right, so that is assignment scheduling. Now let's dive into marking and assessing. So giving feedback and giving grades. We're going to dive pretty far into this. You're going to see me switching back and forth to and from several different assignments. I'll try not to go too fast so you can keep up. But let's go ahead and get out of this Comp 5, and we're actually going to go into Comp Review number 4. So in Comp Review 4, we're going to look at first of all, we're going to look at some voice notes. And I know I went over voice notes in my basics webinar. If you attended that, if not, you're more than welcome to, you'll get some of that information in that basics webinar. But I want to go ahead and again, briefly touch on it so you can see it from multiple views. So here I have my homework assignment, Computation Spiral Review week number 4. And it looks like by those paper clips right there, that means that all of those kids have made edits to that assignment and I need to go back and give them feedback. So it looks like I'm going to click on Chandler Bing first. And oh, sweet Chandler, he has gone ahead and he's scanned some of his work into his assignment, which is beautiful. Love that for him. But it looks like he has gone ahead and given his answers inside that comp review assignment, which is great. I love that he just put his answers in and then showed his work on a different paper. Perfectly fine. I don't have to keep up with it. So I'm going to go into his individual student annotation view. And it looks like he's gone ahead and given me some voice notes. Now, typically kids will give voice notes just to ask for clarification or to demonstrate knowledge. However you want to use those voice notes, but just know that they can be maximized and minimized to save space on this document. So here we have, I don't think it's going to let me play this for you just because I've got my iPad hooked up to the Zoom meeting, but he has added, it looks like 2 voice notes here. So let's say I've taken this home and I've listened to his voice notes and I want to give him some feedback. So I can give him a voice note as well, just to kind of solidify his knowledge or to give him any kind of feedback I'd like. So I'll click on that anywhere and I'll say, great job, Chandler. Could I be any more proud of your math homework? You're doing a great job. And then we'll save it. And now it's there for him to view or to listen to. So again, we can make that small just to get it out of the way. But I love this feature just because I found that my kids typically responded they just responded better whenever I gave them feedback with my voice rather than trying to sit down and type it all out. And also typing stuff out 700,000 times to 700,000 kids takes up so much time, even though it is much quicker than getting the red pen out and doing it on everybody's pieces of paper and making sure that everybody gets their paper back. It's still so much easier just to verbalize your feedback to those kids rather than just typing it out. But whatever you want to do, just know that this is an amazing feature that every Showbie user has access to. If you are a Showbie Basic user, you have a 1-minute limit on your voice notes. But if you are a pro, you have up to 30 minutes in a voice note. So that's excellent. So I'm going to go ahead and push done out of there. And that's voice notes. So next we'll look into a really awesome feature that I love, screen recording. And I'll show you again from both sides, from the student side and from the teacher side. So I'll go out here and let's see. Oh, no, you know what? I don't need to go out there. I'm just going to look into Rachel's right here. Sweet darling Rachel. It looks like what Rachel has done is she has given me a screen recording of her going over her FTP conversions. So we have a graphic organizer that we learn how to do from a blank sheet of paper. And it looks like she's gone ahead and done a screen recording of that just so she can show me that she knows how to do it and she can remember it. So if I click on that, I can actually see what she has recorded onto her screen. Now, this is a free basic feature that everybody has access to. Your kids have the ability to screen record with audio and video or just one of the two. It looks like she doesn't want to have any audio or video playing. That's okay with me because I can still watch and I can still see that she understands the content and everybody's good. Everybody's happy. And I love that for her. So I'll go ahead and get out of that. And it looks like she's gone ahead and saved that file to her assignment as well. So that is from her student view. Again, teachers and students of all Showbie users, teachers and students have access to screen recording. Another way that I have used screen recording in my actual classroom was when I was gone and I had a sub in my classroom. Now we all know that sometimes it's more trouble to plan for a sub than it is for us to just deal with being sick at work, even though now, of course, we would not do that. But oh my gosh, planning for a sub is just never a fun time for anybody. Well, with Showbie, I was able to do things from home to get my kids prepared to have the sub in the classroom. So my Mrs. Biel is gone folder is my sub folder. And you see, I have a sub assignment. I'm going to be gone on the 31st. In my shared items folder, I have gone ahead and given my kids a screen recording of some FDP helpful hints, because that's what their assignment is for when I am gone, is just fraction decimal percent conversions. So if I click on that, hey guys, I'm really sorry I'm not there today. Let's jump right in. It gives me a video of my screen recording, and you can see that I have my beautiful face up there, and it also has audio, but I can again switch that on or off, both of those on or off, whichever way I want. And it's just that easy. And then I posted it straight to that Showbie so they can straight to that shared items folder. into that sub assignment. And so now they always have access to that if they need to go back to give themselves a little bit of a helpful hint on their assignment. So to add a screen recording, it's just as easy as uploading any other document inside an assignment. You click on the plus sign, and down here, it will give you an option for screen recording. It's not going to let me do that right now because I am plugged into the Zoom meeting. But down here at the very, very bottom, it's going to have a screen recording option. And you just click on that. And then it doesn't automatically start a screen recording. It lets you get set up. And then you can screen record whenever you are ready. So that is another great option for you and for your kids. I absolutely use this with my kids, especially whenever I was gone with the sub. So that's a great tool for you to use. All right, so that is voice notes and screen recording. Now let's get into a specific pro feature, which is grades, which was for me, whenever I was debating switching from basic to pro, this was an absolute game changer. And it changed my mind. I thought, oh my gosh, yes, I have to have pro just for this grade feature. So we'll go back into comp reviews. And if you'll notice, I have not given any of my kids grades for their comp reviews just yet. So I can go ahead and do that now with you. It's very easy. It's so much easier than just keeping up with their papers and grading them with the red pen. So I'll go ahead and open up Chandler again, sweet darling Chandler. And I'll open up his assignment. And now I'm ready to give him some feedback. So here he has his assignment, and it is a 2-page assignment. So I can swipe to see, oh, it looks like he did an excellent job. Now to give him a grade for that, you're just going to go up to the top right-hand corner of your iPad, and you'll see this little circle with a check mark in it. You're going to click on that, and then you can give any grade that you would like. You can give letter grades, you can give number grades, you can give decimal grades, you can give emoji grades, whatever you want. The world is your oyster. I'm going to go ahead and instead of doing 10 out of 10 or 90 out of 100 or I'm going to go ahead and give him a little emoji because he did a great job. He completed his assignment. And now I can click save, and now you'll see his grade up there at the top. And you'll see it's also listed over here in this view as well. When Chandler signs into his Showbie, he will see that I have added a grade to his assignment, and he will see this green check mark as well next to this assignment. Okay, so grades are a phenomenal thing that you can use. You can also export grades into a CSV file and import them into any type of gradebook that you use with your district. We use Skyward. So I could download a CSV and then upload that directly. However, or you could manually type them in. Sometimes that was a little bit therapeutic for me, just manually typing in grades. But whatever makes your life easier, you do that. So that leads me to the next feature, which is actually available to everybody. Now, grades are a pro feature, but this next feature, which is called quick marking, is available for every single user in Showbie. And it's really going to be a game changer for your marking abilities. So, I guess I'll go back to Chandler and I'll open up his comp review, and you'll see that I have already given him a grade, obviously. Well, instead of opening up each student's individual assignment, giving them a grade, pushing done, going to the next student, giving them a grade, pushing done, that takes a long time and it's very monotonous. So one thing that Showbie allows you to do is to quick mark. So if you'll click on your student's face up here, you'll get a list of all your other students that have this assignment. And then you can click on the next one. So next is Phoebe. And I see that Phoebe has done a great job on this first page of her homework. But I can now, with this quick marking feature, I can now swipe to Monica and see that Monica has also done a great job. Now I can swipe to Ross and see that Ross has done a great job. And you can do that through all of these students. Now, one thing about Rachel does not have any annotations on this actual assignment, but I know that she has something that she added to this assignment because we've got this little 3 up here. So that makes me, that gives me a mental note to go back and see what she's added to this assignment. But she doesn't have anything right now in this view, but that's okay. I can swipe and go straight to Joey and see that Joey has done this. So quick marking just makes it super simple, super fast for you to go through all of your kids' assignments and to just very quickly just do those quick feedbacks, do that quick feedback, give them grades, and then move on to the next kid. So you're not sitting here shuffling papers, your desk is a mess. We've all been there. I don't want to ever be there again. So another cool thing about this quick marking feature, I'll go ahead and go back to Chandler. If your assignment, like this assignment, is 2 pages, if you want to grade everybody's first page and then grade everybody's second page, that is absolutely a capability for you. So if I want to now just do everybody's second page, now I'm on Chandler's second page and I'm going to swipe to Phoebe. And now I'm on Phoebe's second page. Swipe to Monica. Now I'm on Monica's second page, and so on and so forth. So you have both of those options for you. And that makes grading and marking and giving feedback super, super quick. Okay, so I hope that's opened up your eyes a little bit to a little bit more of what you can do with grading and assessing your students' activities in Showbie. Now we'll move on to working with other apps. Now, we're going to talk about 2 apps today, and oh my gosh, we could do a whole new webinar on just each of these apps. So we're going to very quickly touch on these aspects, but just know that both of these apps are incredible and amazing, and we can dive deeper into those at a further webinar. So just to be prepared. So first of all, we're going to talk about Socrative. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of this comp reviews assignment, and then I'll go into this comp check. So in my classroom, every week, students have to complete an actual homework that's no longer than 24 questions. And then at the end of the week, after that week is over, they have to prove that they know what is on the homework, that they know the skills that were on the homework. So they have to do a 5-question homework check or a comp check. So in comp check number 4, what I have done in our shared items is I have added a Socrative quiz. Now I have a Socrative Pro and a Showbie Pro account. And what I've done, and again, this is another webinar, I have connected my Showbie and Socrative accounts, which is actually very easy and very quick and very intuitive. And I have clicked on this plus sign and I've added a quiz. Now it's not going to let me do that again now because I've already got a quiz going, but it's just that simple. Once you connect your Showbie and your Socrative accounts, just that easy. And it allows you to actually input multiple choice, true, false, or short answer quizzes inside your Showbie accounts for your kids. So I have already done that, and you'll see that this comp review is this comp check is in progress. So I'll go ahead and just click on where it says in progress, and then it opens up a live view of this Socrative activity. So you'll see that it's almost over. I just got Phoebe that has a couple more questions. So let's see if we can urge Phoebe to finish these 2 questions and move on. All right, let's see, that's that. All right, and you'll see that this is an actual live view. So as Phoebe's putting her answers in, you are seeing it pop up on your screen. There we go. Whoops, maybe I should put in the correct answer. There we go. So it looks like Phoebe has finally finished. She's going to go ahead and submit her quiz. And now everybody is done. Here's the cool part. So now once everybody is finished with their quiz, I'm going to go ahead and click this finish button. Now again, new webinar, but I can toggle on the names, toggle on the responses, and toggle on and off the results. I'm going to go ahead and finish this quiz. And so now my quiz has ended. Everybody has finished, right? Super fantastic. Well, how are the kids going to know what grade they got? That's an excellent question. All you got to do is click on these three dots over here next to that quiz, and then you can distribute scores, view results, or distribute individual reports. So let's go ahead and distribute those scores to those kids. It automatically does it for you. You don't have to go in and do anything manually. If you want to do that, by all means, go for it. But it does that automatically. So now the kids have access to what their grades were on that Socrative quiz. Well, that's all fine and good. Well, what if these kids want to do corrections and maybe see what they did wrong? I'm glad you asked. Let's click on those three dots one more time. And then what we'll do is we'll click this distribute reports. So now it's distributing individualized reports for each of these kids, showing them what questions they got right and which ones they got wrong. So if we'll give it a minute just to distribute those, now it's finished and we can click on each individual student. So let's look at Monica. She got everything right. This is that view that they will get as soon as you distribute those reports. It's fantastic. I love this feature. So one way that I use this is, let's see, Ross didn't do so hot. So if Ross wants to make corrections, he can literally open up this this PDF of his report, and then he can go into the questions that he got wrong, and he can either do a screen recording or he can do a voice note telling me of what he did wrong and what he should do to fix it and how he can correct that, and then submit that for his corrections. It's amazing, fantastic, and all with very little effort on my end. Fantastic, absolutely love it. So that is a little bit of Socrative integration. And now let's go ahead and get out of there. Now, last app that we'll talk about is, oh, you know what? I forgot one thing. I do want to start one. I want to start a quiz. So I've already finished comp review number 4, but let's see if we can go ahead and start comp review number 5 to comp check number 5, just to get everybody ready. Just make sure that they know that that's coming. So in my shared items, I'm again going to click on that plus sign, and then I'm going to click on quiz. And then it opens up an embedded Socrative window. So now I can pick where I want this quiz to come from. I don't have comp 5 up here. That's okay. I'll just do another comp 4. We'll click next. I'll say open navigation, show the kids their final score, start that assignment, and there it goes. So now when those kids sign in and when they have access to comp check number 5, they will be able to go in and finish comp check 5. Awesome. Super easy. Okay, so now for real, let's go into explain everything. Now, I'm sure Explain Everything is an app that you have probably heard of through the grapevine. If you don't know a whole lot about it, it is phenomenal. It's an amazing, amazing collaborative, interactive whiteboard workspace. That is super, super easy, and you can add a whole lot of cool things to your whiteboard workspace. Highly encourage you to look into it if you don't already use it already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get out of Showbie and go into my Explain Everything. I've already finished my workspace, my Explain Everything workspace, but I want to distribute this assignment to my kids into a specific folder. So after I've finished everything, it's just as easy as clicking the share button up here. And then instead of actually embedding an actual video, which takes up a whole lot of space and is just, it would then have to download to the kids' iPads or their device, and it just takes up a whole lot of time, I'm going to create a web video link, which just creates a link that sends them directly to that workspace rather than the actual video. So I've created that link. I've given it a minute to go ahead and process. Now all I have to do is click this share button. And then I can either share it to my crazy friends, or I can add it to my Showbie app. And it lets me pick which class. I'm going to go ahead and add it to my math class. We can put it in our notebook. Sure. And then it gives you the opportunity to either share it to a couple of students or to share it to all of your students. I'm going to go ahead and share it with everybody. And then you'll just click the screen button here and it will automatically generate that website and put that into that shared items folder. So the kids have immediate access to that Explain Everything whiteboard. So super simple, very intuitive. I love both of those apps. I should have definitely used Explain Everything a little bit more in my classroom, but I definitely used Socrative a lot. Loved it, loved how it talked really nice with Showbie and it just kind of streamlined my workspace within my classroom. Loved it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and switch back to my desktop and we're going to talk about some of those new features coming up. All right, if you'll bear with me for just a second. Let's see. All right, there we go. So you should be able to now see my Google Slides one more time. I'm sure, Sarah, you'll let me know if, if this is not showing. So let's talk about 3 fresh features that are either live and ready for you to use or coming very, very soon within the next couple of days. First of all is the pinned post. This is actually live and it is available for all Showbie users. And I'll show you how to use that very briefly. I'm going to go ahead and swipe over to my Showbie desktop app. This is again on my Mac, but you'll see that it is very, very similar looking to when we were on my iPad. So here I have, let's go back into my subfolder because it looks like whenever I did my screen recording, it bumped that up to the top. But what I really want are my instructions to always be at the top, just so my kids constantly have access and don't ever have the question of, well, I didn't know what to do. Well, it was on the top of their Showbie page. So what you can do is you can pick the posts or the documents, any of these shared items that you want to make the most important, and you can pin them directly to the top of the screen. So if you'll click on these 3 dots and just click pin, now it's always going to be on the top. I also have another one down here that I want to go ahead and add to the top up there, and there it goes. So now to my 2 posts that are the instructions to my sub assignments are posted directly up at the top. So now the kids will always have access to it. Perfect. Now, one thing to note is that if you are on the iPad or if you are on iOS, what you'll do is you'll swipe on this post and it'll give you an option to pin, a little pin option that you can tap on, but that's really the only difference. So that's assignment or post pinning. Next, we have assignment overview. Now, this is something that is coming in the next, I think maybe the next week or 2, it's going to be live. But this is going to be another game changer for all of you Showbie users, whether you're pro or basic. This is going to be available for you. Now, this assignment overview is kind of, we call it kind of a pulse check on what's going on inside all of your assignments in Showbie. So here is just a brief video, and I'll try to, it's a quick video, so I'll try to talk fast. But it is a way for you to organize your thoughts and see all of your assignments and what all your kids have posted. So I'll let this video get to that overview. So right there, you'll see that there is an overview option. Once you click on the wrench up there at the top, that wasn't there on my iPad, or it's not there right now, but it's about to be. So you'll just click on that overview. And then it gives you this incredible view of all of your assignments that you've given your kids. So you see your kids that are listed over here on the left, and this is a scrollable list. But you'll also see all of your assignments up here at the top, all of your assignments, and it is scrollable vertically and horizontally as well. So you can scroll vertically, you can scroll horizontally if you have assignments that take up more than that page. It's an incredible view, and you can see if you have Pro and you've put grades in, you can see the grades for each of those assignments, or you can see whether a kid has made an edit to any of the assignments. Here you'll see those paper clips or those red circles. That's for feedback, or if somebody's turned something in late. It's just an excellent way for you to view and get a check on everything that's going on inside your classroom. Or you can click on that assignments thing up there at the very top. And if you want to see just something in one specific folder, so if we wanted to just see our comp reviews in that comp review folder, we could click up there and say comp reviews, and then it'll give me all of the comp reviews in that folder. Incredible. I am so excited for this. I cannot wait. So again, this grading feature, these grades that they've put in, that is a Pro feature. So you will need to have Pro in order to utilize that ability. But now you can see that that kid does not have a grade. So you can go in, give that kid feedback, give him a grade, and then it'll be in that assignment overview. So it's an amazing feature that's coming very, very quickly. So I hope you're as excited about it as I am. Currently right now, let's see if there's anything. Oh, of course, you can download again all of these grades. If you have that grading feature, you can download all of those grades into a CSV in order for you to upload into whatever grading system you use with your district. So that's a great way for you to use that grading feature and only have to put grades in one time, if at all, if you're using that Socrative automatic grade thing. So it's incredible. I can't wait for this to come out. I can't wait to hear the feedback from all the other teachers that are going to be using it and have access to this view. It's going to be great. So last thing, this next thing is going to come out in a couple of weeks. It's a little bit further down the road, but we're talking like mid-September. This next thing is going to be assignment reordering. So currently, all of your assignments are, by default, they're sorted by due date, and then they're sorted by name. So with this assignment reordering, they're going to give you the option to pick how you want to have your assignments sorted, or you can sort them manually, which is amazing. You don't think that that's going to be a game changer until you're like, man, I really wish that assignment would be there, would be here. So here you see that you can move those assignments. You can also make individual assignments locked or viewed only. Up here at the very top, you'll notice next to the wrench, there is an edit button that's going to be there in order for you to make those adjustments to those assignments, to reorder them or make any of those adjustments. So that's going to be a great feature as well. That again is a little bit further down the road. But for now, those are the things that we are super excited about pushing into our new teachers, to our teachers this year, and hopefully that can make our lives a little bit easier. So that's what I have for you today. We have about 5.5 minutes left. So I would love, let me go ahead and just get my screen, stop screen sharing. Okay, quit it, stop it. And then I will open up the floor for any questions that you might have. Let me see if there's anything. I don't think there's anything in the Q&A. But if you don't have any more questions, then I'll give you an extra 5.5 minutes of your night. And I'll see you next time. Hopefully I'll see you next Thursday or next Tuesday for my next webinar.